This is Kardec Radio for Teens.
And now it's time for real life-changing dilemmas from a spiritist perspective. The Diary of Alex with your host, Mark Smith.
Hello, friends, and welcome once again to another edition of the Diary of Alex. Alex, as you may recall, is our medical student who is very much enamored of medicine, very excited about it. He seems to have found his purpose in life, his reincarnatory plan, and yet at the same time he's also experiencing what seems to be a mismatch between his own interests, life experiences, his own vibratory field, and that of the vibratory field of his parents, in particular his stepfather and stepbrothers. And so right now we're going to enter another exciting diary entry from Alex, and then we're going to discuss and provide some commentary on that. Dear Diary, I was just in the midst of studying tonight when all of a sudden my two stepbrothers came in, and they were shouting at each other, falling on top of each other, creating havoc around the entire household. And in a fit of fury, one of my stepbrothers picked up one of my medical books and threw it down on the floor, ripping open the pages of all the notes I've taken in many of my classes in the past few weeks. I have a major exam to study for. How frustrating. Now I have to try to figure out to piece everything together. I hope I can figure out if everything is still there. I can't understand why they act this way. And dear Diary, I admit I got so angry with them. So angry. I just couldn't take it anymore, and I fought with them myself, which, as I later realized, of course, only created more problems, because then one of my stepbrothers threw a glass of water on top of one of my books, and now I have even more problems to deal with as a result of it. I don't understand why my stepbrothers behave so differently from me and have such different values. I have found myself really excited and really found a calling for myself, and my stepbrothers seem instead to just loaf around, do nothing, and fight all the time. I can't get over my feelings of anger. As much as I want to, I can't. The fight's been over now for a few hours. I'm still angry, and I guarantee you I'm going to write back tomorrow and still be angry at them. I wish I could erase my feelings of how much I dislike them, but I can't. What should I do? Well, let's think about what Alex might be able to do. And we can look to our good friend Jesus for help, because Jesus teaches us about loving our enemies. It's expected and even, I would say, understandable from both an emotional, spiritual, physiological perspective that we're going to behave differently, that we're going to have towards some people that we like and some people that we don't like. And Jesus admits this, and he says this to us, that there's going to be people we appreciate and people whom we don't appreciate as much. In the Gospel according to Spiritism, in the passage Love Your Enemies, chapter 12, the good spirits even tell us that our hearts beat differently when surrounded by those who challenge us and those whom we love. And remember that Jesus, if you read that chapter carefully, you'll learn that Jesus doesn't expect us to become best friends with everyone. Jesus doesn't expect us to even develop extremely close relations with the people who live under the same roof as us. We're not necessarily expected to become the best friends with everyone that we're not able to really love or who are not able to love us. However, Jesus does tell us that we should have compassion for them, that we should not wish them ill, and importantly, we shouldn't hold grudges. Why? Well, because by embracing forgiveness, by letting go of those grudges, by not wishing people ill and instead building compassion and connecting to higher emotions of compassion and caring, we are keeping ourselves connected with higher forces. But if we hold grudges, we're keeping ourselves connected vibratorily with exactly the people we have misunderstandings with exactly the energy that we're so desperately frustrated and angry and to avoid. And so we need to free ourselves from resentment. But how should we do that? Luckily, the good spirits tell us in Good News, chapter 13, in the chapter Sin and Punishment, we have a message from Jesus himself where he's encouraging his own disciples to forgive. And in that message, we learn an important message, which is Jesus tells his disciples, if you had grown up in the same circumstances as the people with whom you have this grudges, how would you have behaved? What sort of experiences do you think the people that you're frustrated with, angry with, that bother you all the time, have had in their childhood? Would you have been able to also have done the same or acted in the same way as a result of the experience of that? What would you do with that much pain? Is pain a call for those who are desperate for attention and love? Why might someone be experiencing pain and anger and take out grudges and throw temper tantrums and destroy your medical books? Why might they be experiencing this? Through these reflective questions from Jesus, we can, in a sense, be able to dissolve these vibratory handcuffs that are created from resentment. There's a second tool, and that is visualizations or reading positive messages. I encourage all of us to have on hand a meditation book or an inspirational book of positive messages. And in Spiritism, we have a lot of them. And one of the more recently published ones is this beautiful book of inspirational messages, positive messages from Andre Morera by the spirit Dias da Cruz. And this is called Pills of Trust. And I wanted to read a positive inspirational message from this short little book. These are nice messages because they're no more than a page or a page and a half long, but they're filled with meaning. And the title of this one is Chapter 6. It's called Visualize Balance and Renew Yourself. You live the life you choose, which you built for yourself through the means of irradiation of your inner life. You will find yourself attracted to circumstances connected to your energetic identity, reaping the fruits and effects of the causes which you determine through the use of your free will. Notice that in your cells, the forces of your magnetic chains, which either harmonize or imbalance you, are a natural reflection of your mental and emotional fields. Therefore, you live what you construct or build without self-pity or punishment. And besides, you are gathered with those who breathe the same mental and emotional atmosphere which you have cultivated. Thus, your motivation is strengthened or weakened in accordance with your spiritual synchronization. In this way, you are constructing and modifying at every instance that which happens, lives, and vibrates within you. Therefore, visualize the peace and harmony you wish to imprint on your cellular, mental, and affective or emotional universe to allow this effort to become the renewing force within you. However, do not become trapped by the benefits of this constructive hypnosis. Travel into your heart for a healthy introspection in order to recognize your fundamental errors before the divine laws, preparing you to rebalance and restore yourself through the means of self-forgiveness, forgiveness of others, and through a vibrating love that is felt and lived. Bring your soul and life into synchronicity with goodness and beauty while aiming to master the health of your body and soul. Isn't that beautiful? The message, I think, tells us something really important, which is that to free ourselves from resentment, to become a forgiving people, one of the most important things we need to do is to also forgive ourselves and not resent ourselves. And the other thing that's beautiful about this message is how it's within our own power to harmonize and connect with the better forces and that we are creating, as the message says, the mental and emotional atmosphere. We are cultivating that. It's almost like by our choices, by the way we choose to live our lives, by the emotions, by the thoughts that we have. We are, in a sense, gardeners of our own spiritual life. We're constructing our emotional and mental energy. We're constructing the life that we have. It's within our power to change that. But we need to do these kinds of we need to work on ourselves. This is one of the great messages of Spiritism, and it's a message that can be found in many religions, but Spiritism makes it very clear. Let's learn to forgive ourselves. Let's learn to become connected to ourselves. Let's learn to love ourselves. Let's meditate and reflect upon who we really are, because if we think about it, by loving ourselves, we're getting closer to Jesus, because Jesus also loves us. And we are we're a creation of Jesus, and in a sense, we're created by love. So in loving ourselves, we are becoming closer to the higher spirits, and it's this beautiful message that I'd like to leave us with today, so that we can learn from Alex here. Beautiful spirits, thank you for reminding us of the power of forgiveness and the power of love. Allow us right now to love ourselves so that we may be better able, when faced with frustrating and challenging circumstances with others, and we may be better able to forgive them as well. Give us the strength every day to become better instruments of your beautiful, loving presence in the world. We do wish to be forgiving, loving, and always, always, always looking inside to understand why someone would behave this way, so that we can learn to forgive them and learn to act with compassion. So be it. Thank you, and I'll see you next week for another edition of the Diary of Alex.
This has been Kardec Radio for Teens. Thank you all for listening.